it's a mess like other things, like my face. Okay. Just give me a second whilst I adjust my hair, really on the spot. Right. Apologies about the delay. Hopefully everything's just in place. I do have a video in regard to the Kenny Veach case, and it's extremely important. However, I don't want to rush it. I'm going to take in consideration and do that tomorrow, but a live stream can be done in the moment. It's good to see Hood Boys present. I've not come across Hood Boys for a long time, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. My interpretation of people can be random at times, but I don't know, the presence of Hood Boys, what they say, their presence, I can sense loyalty within them. I can sense that they're a good person, and it's good that they're present on this channel at this moment in time. So yeah, just want to say apologies about the delay with the live stream. Just some bits and bobs in the background. But the after effects of really Robin, his presence, what's happened, what's gone down, has anything really changed? You can share your thoughts, of course, in this live stream as we go on, as we talk about it, and you know what's really happened. But it's kind of gone how I could say how it's gone as planned in terms of being disappointed, but with a slight twist this time round. I didn't get my prediction completely correct. Normally I would say when I'm proven wrong, it's a positive. In this case, it wasn't really a positive or a negative, but I'll give more context on that when a few more people join into this live stream. Hood Boys, thanks fam, I appreciate you. I'll always tune into your videos and lives. That's much appreciated. We've got Strawberry as well. It's great to see Strawberry back, of course. You know, it's one of those things where when doing live streams, as serious, as important as they are, I feel that when Strawberry is around, it does make things better in general. And it might even apply to some people that watch in the background as well. Because it's only because from the Kenny Veach case, the MK community, not everyone's going to know who is who. Some people come on over from true crime, some people come on over from Kenny Veach, and there's a crossover. I'm always constant, as in doing coverage, but different people come and go. So just as a brief little introduction to those that aren't familiar with Strawberry, a very long time, consistent viewer, always kind and welcoming to a range of different people. And even during darkness, when there's such weird characters and strange people that show up, Strawberry's still very patient and tries to understand. So when you got people like that, it can help with other stuff that goes on. However, when it comes to problematic people out there, when I need to step up, I'll do that, because after the last time when another viewer on my channel received death threats, right? I mean, I received death threats just recently, as some will know, that I will be murdered, I will be killed if I continue on with the case. Whether it's real or not, it's not ideal. But if viewers are going to be targeted, that's just pathetic, you know? If people were to be killed or murdered, it shouldn't have to be the viewers. If it has to be me, then yeah, but it doesn't have to be the viewers. You know, there's a time in the past, and it's different now, but the time in the past where just by being lighthearted, because it's important to be lighthearted during certain cases and moments, right? And yet in true crime, like, just like how Strawberry was treated by other viewers, it's like, why are you going after that person? You're going to go after people, just go after me. If I'm the supposed problem, other people shouldn't have to be impacted by it. You know, I'm the one that puts myself out there. I'm the one that's present online. If anyone's going to be a target, then technically it should be me, not other people for just simply watching or commenting, you know? But anyway, welcome to anyone else is present. Shit, I don't think I've got a drink. That's not good. If we get a dry mouth, I'll have to leave the room and get some water. I've still got that cough 4, 5, 6 weeks on. And it only comes about when it's during an important moment, such as right now. That's typical for me. I do want to give one little heads up as well. I have experienced another issue, and that's in regard to the technology. As of yesterday and the day before, when updating my phone, the operating system, all of a sudden now, when I record my face, when I record my face, do my little clip like how it would be like this from this point of view, and then I add it to my project through an external app, everything's fine. Then once I've exported the video, the audio is completely out of sync. The mouth is moving, but the audio isn't in tune. It's not in sync. So what I have to do, or what I had to do recently, was individually save each video as a new video and then individually send them to an external app just to export, and it somehow fixes it, and then add it back to the original project. And I've got to do that 4 or 5 times depending on how many clips there is. It's not practical. It's really not good. This is yet something else on top of everything else that's happened with YouTube with time. It's an absolute disaster. Time consuming, slows everything else down, and pisses me off. The only thing that I have tried is adjusting one of the settings, auto frame rate. I've not even tried it yet. I don't even know if it's going to work. I'll have to test it tomorrow or the day after. But, you know, things like this, where it's like anticipating and expecting what's going to happen next. Oh, it probably won't work. And then it impacts trying to enjoy making the video with the cough as well, stopping and starting, adding effects. I've had this before in 2024. I know what to expect. It's going to go. But in the meantime, it does no good for me. So that's a problem. Jeff Claw, use a laptop. Don't even go there, Jeff. Don't even go there with the laptop. I've already tried. I spent hours upon hours, days upon days trying to make things work, and it never worked. Even when I was doing the Rebecca Zahau case. Oh, just one little thing whilst here. Hood Boys. It's you, Hood Boys, isn't it? When in California you went to Coronado, Rebecca Zahau, interested in the case, did the EVP. Strawberry has followed the Rebecca Zahau case as well. So I just thought I'd mention that. Welcome to anyone else that is watching during this live stream. It might not be as long as the others. It's kind of like on the spot. But the situation with Really Robin, the weird behaviour going on there. Does this new Robin sound legit? This new Really Robin, the same person that showed up a year ago or so. Same channel, same fake person, in my opinion. Whenever someone has to be cryptic or awkward when putting something across, what good does it do? I know some people can't explain themselves if they're in danger, but there's a way around it. There's people in the past, in the Dylan Rounds case, that said, can't speak too much or don't share it too much because if you do, they might kill me, I'm in danger. And it's like, I respect that, I understand. It'll be fine. If people reached out privately, You can spread your voice, you can release certain tension, but you can also remain safe, because it is possible. But, of course, through true crime to mysteries, the community online, because there's so many knobheads out there in general, all those bastards making it harder for other people, and that's why those other people may not always explain themselves, or it's just not always possible. Or, let's just make one thing, it doesn't excuse the odd few mysterious people that treat it like some kind of game. In some ways, you look at Robin, the pen drive, yeah, you can say it's fake. It's a load of rubbish. But on the basis that if it was a real thing, the attitude of just throwing it out there in the desert into a mine shaft, that's not practical whatsoever. It reminds me of the true crime cases where people supposedly have information or knowledge about important sensitive material that they either have or they've witnessed seeing. What do they decide to do? They decide to just blurt it out online before actually telling the victim's family or the police. Maybe that's a bit of a red flag and an indication to say, well, maybe it's fake, it's a load of BS what they're saying in the first place. Because if it was something real or sensitive or important, they just wouldn't be mentioning it public. They'd go around the right channels and in the background to the right people. So, yeah, there's a time and place for everything, but I think some out there in the cases and communities, how they go about, how they express or explain, doesn't help. Shout out to anyone that is still watching and knows that I've come along the way. Strawberry says, Raf, your coverage of her case was amazing. Appreciate that. But in all fairness, to some extent, because of the short time I spent on the case, I wouldn't have been able to do that without you, Strawberry. Because the knowledge that you had, the passion that you had, the way you expressed it, you knew more about it than I did. And whilst I might have picked up on things no one else did, there's always a starting point. And that starting point is by you, Strawberry, teaching me about the case. So then I had a bit of a better idea. And although, you know, YouTube, that's its own dodgy thing, but it was the first time that I covered a case which, statistically, absolute disaster. And that's not me exaggerating, that's me being honest. But I didn't care about the statistics because it was just nice being able to cover a case and also spend that time with you, Strawberry, when going through it. Because it's just by nature and the way it is, I cover cases and record videos more so, one-man army, lone wolf, lock in. Viewers, other creators, hikers help a lot. They always do. But when it comes to constructing the video, editing, recording, going through legal issues, if there is any, going through all the threats, the harassment, the slander, the attacks, the sexual deviant activity in the background by some people, the obsessions by others, etc. You know, I will deal with that and all the other shit, mostly by myself, as well as the cases. So when you finally get around to covering a case, but you also get to share it with someone, and someone you know, then it makes it more fun. Of course, the case isn't, you know, a positive thing because of what's happened, but it's more fun at times. It's a change to be able to cover a case with someone rather than, you know, as a one-man army. So it was fun to do, Strawberry. And maybe sometime in the future, if there's any other cases out there, the same can happen again, hopefully. So we've got Linda from Sweden, that's good. We've got Badger as well. Big shout out to Badger, big shout out to Classy. Really key people. Yeah, I mean, I've just stopped myself from analysing people because I end up waffling on too much. Jeff, and who calls a USB drive a pen drive? I don't know. What's supposed to be on the pen drive? Well, Robin claimed it had footage and recordings of Kenny's voice. But you know what the thing is, Jeff Clark? It's probably going to be like those red tapes, those cassette tapes, you know, in terms of the short videos that you uploaded claiming that it was either family members or people talking about the case. The timing of all that by this so-called Robin Jeff Clark coincided with when I did my analysis of Kenny Veach, was it Picture Canyon, Follow the Red Tape. The paranormal voice caught on camera by Kenny Veach going down that hike route, and there was a slight whisper, follow the red tape. And then what happens? Really, Robin decides to do red cassette tapes as a, you know, a visual aspect, and then a recording of it. I understand it adds a bit of entertainment and mystery, but it depends how it's done. Gene Lukowski was an example of someone that appeared more professional and formal, but by some people's perspectives, full of shit at the end of the day. Look, people can present themselves in a professional way with stats, figures, dates, times, and how they word things, right? They can still be a fake bastard. Other people can show up and be reckless, fake as hell, and if it's clear, then it's no big deal. It's problematic. If it can be detected quickly and contained, then it is what it is. Jeff Voice's footsteps is why I kept wanting to have a continuous recorded. I get that. In times when that happened, Jeff, your cameras didn't work or slipped out somehow, fell out. Just catching up. Good boys, Rebecca case could have been solved, but unfortunately San Diego police is one of America's most corrupt cops. What's going on here? Just catching up with the comments. Shout out to Imperial Rick, present. I think my hair needs cutting again. God. Impossible to fall out. Some of it oddity with missing camera. I get that. That's important in itself. Was there any visible damage, Jeff, to your pouch, to your backpack, whatever? Any tears, any holes? Because if not, someone or something would have had to have reached in, picked it out, pulled it out. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened with Kenny Veach, but did it? Just vanished. I mean, with Kenny Veach, phone and coins didn't vanish because they were found. But did they vanish from Kenny? I'm just trying to get a pattern in place. The possibilities of what might have been present, but then no longer after. Camera, security strap, carabiner, all gone. Well, what we'll do, Jeff Clark, I will do coverage on that, even if it's just a small video to spread awareness. I know I still need to catch up with some of the other things, some important videos in between, which I will do. And hopefully the recordings do work. But in terms of tomorrow, just as a heads up, very important video tomorrow. I've gone over Kenny Veach's hike footage. I've listened into the language and wording, and I've picked up on something extremely important. Kenny Veach has been out there quite a few times. for Kenny Veach to reference, oh, he needs a map to check the distance, is also very questionable. I'm going to piece it all together tomorrow. I'm going to do an extensive map analysis and lock him, because the more times you're out there, it comes across like the way hikers are nowadays, constantly going back out there to look for Kenny, the M Cave. Why was Kenny out there multiple times? And how many in total? And there's a rough estimation as to how many, or at least a maximum. And it's like, out of all those hikes, on which one did he come across the M Cave? Earlier on, the more times he's been out since. Later on, well, what was he doing before that? And depending the area where he believed it to be, going back there, passing by multiple times, why would it change? Both before, during, and after. You can say you can't trust Kenny Veach. He's all over the place. His mind, how he expresses himself. And someone like me, I can be a complete pain in the arse in terms of picking up on inconsistencies by humans, you know? The way Kenny Veach expresses and talks, it is what it is. People are human. Sometimes I don't think I am. I know someone did say recently that I am a reptilian, and to be honest, I wouldn't complain. My tongue's massive. I don't wiggle my tongue much, because if I did, I'd probably be arrested, to be honest. But yeah. But in terms of how Kenny expresses himself, how he talks, his tone of voice, the body language, I see too much. That's the problem with me. I see too much, I pick up on too much. I can critique a lot, but just know it will also be applied to myself as well for that balance, because I can be extremely hard on myself. I think some people have picked up on that. We got Trevor Mains. Welcome to the live stream. Same reason Kenny's phone had to be recharged to delete anything on it. I think if camera records something wrong, they get corrupted or taken. The light bulb guys, welcome back. I remember you. Don't want them to see me here. Got to go. Who's them? Okay. Whatever that is. Welcome to anyone else watching in the background. What time are we on? Not too bad. Such a dry mouth. But yeah, Robin's return. I'll word it as the supposed Robin. It's easier that way. The supposed Robin's return, and how's that gone down? Underwhelming, pretty much. Strawberry says, crazy how long it took his girlfriend to report him missing. Yeah, 7 days later. She claimed 2 days later. See, there's some very, very strange coincidences overlapping from what the original Robin had said in his hike. Robin, the original, in that hike video, said Kenny Veach went missing the 17th of November. What? Kenny Veach went missing the 10th of November. But he was reported missing on the 17th of November, as the police report states. That police report came about with more public knowledge when Susan Veach, sister-in-law to Kenny, showed up. That was after really Robin's disappearance. And Susan Veach responded to the Sean Hallaker situation of Red Rock replying saying they found the phone charged. Susan's theory, different to yours, Jeff Clark, but Susan's theory was, in her words, I believe Kenny Veach and girlfriend or whoever went out there on the 17th to stage the phone and to drop it off there. to make sure it was charged and remained charged for the next few days so it doesn't get drained by the environment, the temperatures. That's just a theory. But she based it on the 17th because the 17th is when the girlfriend reported Kenny missing on the same day, for example. You see what I mean? To put it brief, what really Robin claimed in 2020 was before we knew of the police report, before we knew of what Susan had to say about the 17th of November. How did really Robin know of that information before most of us did? I don't know, it's just weird. Why Sharon hiked to that mine? I don't think that she hiked to the mine. But if someone was to stage it, Kenny more likely on that basis. I'll just go and get some water. Don't be on good behaviour whilst I'm gone. I'm going to take a second, very quick. Need to make a reference. Oh shit, I've just spilt it. Oh my god. Well, that's clever. Yeah, so even though I'm supposed to got it under control, I've got a massive puddle of water on the wardrobe now. That can stay there. Fuck it. Okay. The original Robin is on some payroll. He admitted it. Original Robin infiltrates events around that border. Is that to do with those comments that you shared with me, Jeff? I still need to get round to that. And just as a quick question, Jeff, were those comments by the original Robin or the return of the other Robin? Shit. Dripping everywhere. Welcome to anyone else who has joined along during this live stream. Just talking about the situation with really Robin, the Kenny Veach case, the return of the fake Robin, we'll put it that way. And the fact that videos get posted and then deleted after move on to new ones, like Storm Area 51. But the thing is, before Robin deleted that, he had a handful of videos over the years. So he didn't move on and delete stuff regularly. That Robin got 10,000 subscribers, somewhat established, you know. All the Storm got deleted. That's true. The thing what I'd say that's interesting, Jeff Clark, is the timing of Storm Area 51 and really Robin is also, I think, the time of Mac Adventures, father and son, when they got detained or taken away for so many months after exploring one of the back gates of Area 51, crossing the line, held at gunpoint by military, etc. Guys, massive puddle of wetness here. I don't know why I forgot the drink, probably just got distracted. Right. So there's still unfinished business with the original Robin. Man, at this point, I kind of want to go up for the cave. Fair enough. Suddenly scared on videos, saying don't go. Yeah. Mac Adventures, the son, acted scared or appeared scared on camera and said, not worth going out there. And you know what? When someone's so passionate, when all of a sudden they do a complete U-turn and they're not passionate anymore, or they don't show that desire, they don't show that hunger, clearly something's wrong. Something is going on in the background. And whether they explain or not, that's unknown. Now, Iwu Crew did get answers out of him. eventually, and it was like 4 to 6 months detained, locked away, whatever. Whether that changed them or other things, scare tactics. But then you got Robin. Robin appeared all scared as well. Same reason Lazar said he had to go public to protect himself. Is that by when you go public, you then create a lot of witnesses that know you and are looking out for you, so that you don't suffer in silence, so you don't get taken away, you don't get killed silently. But strength in numbers, more people that know and are aware of you and your existence and what you know of. If anyone did try doing anything to you, everyone else would know. And indirectly, that's exactly why I do what I do. Because in the past, when I received death threats and warnings and messages, I did my videos. It doesn't matter if it was late at night. It doesn't matter if it was after my bedtime. It makes me sound like a complete idiot, that. But I was outside in the garden and I said, if you don't hear from me the next day or the day after, I've been killed. I've been taken away. I've been abducted. I've been kidnapped. And some people will say it's dramatic, but guess what? What happens if it did happen? You never know. It's better to take things serious rather than take everything as a joke, because being lighthearted is positive in its own right, but sometimes being too lighthearted, being too carefree comes across as disrespectful. Disrespecting the dangers in front of you, disrespecting how dangerous can be, underestimating them, or disrespecting other people that may be experiencing something themselves. That's why I might take things too serious, or I am serious often, just the way I am and the way things are. If you take everything lighthearted, it can come across as insulting. It can come across like you don't care. Everyone's different. They want the land after Kenny. That says it all, yeah? And interestingly, some people that have come along the way, Jeff, that didn't know about that, who were firmly in place with certain beliefs on the case, as soon as I told them about military wanting to take over that land, people's minds changed just like that. So there is a grounding effect there, as in, whoa, what's really going on? And of course, there is that proof and evidence of the military wanting to take over that land too. Out of all the land they could have, they chose that particular area. And the timing of it, weird. People could say, well, if the military wanted to take over the land, were they also responsible for Kenny's disappearance originally? You could argue and say, maybe. But then you could argue and then say, well, if Kenny was taken away by military, then why would they need to take over the land afterwards? Because, like how Jeff said, if a person goes public to protect themselves in some way, make themselves known in this world, well, that's what Kenny Veach did. Is he protected? No. But is he known? Yes. And if anything happens to Kenny, people online, in some way, may find out or know. And strength in numbers, mystery to the area, it might even encourage people to go out there, which to some extent it did. So maybe military and beyond other groups felt, we've taken out the problem, but it's only the beginning. It's what happens next. It's the resistance that follows. The wave of outcry of people wanting justice or truth, who may then set out, and then you got a Kenny Veach 2.0 that hikes. So what's better, what's easier? Just take over the land so then no one else can go after Kenny. Makes sense. 3 AM Forge, been watching you for a while now, but I've followed Kenny's mystery for years now. That's great to know. I remember his sister doing an interview about his disappearance. It'd be a good idea to try talk to her again. 3 AM Forge, you're the second person recently to bring that up. Do you know where that interview is? Has it got anything to do with the HLN documentary? Because if it's something separate, I've never seen before. Kenny didn't know what he was reporting about. He didn't realise how dangerous what he was going exactly. I interpreted it in a slightly different way, previous, that Kenny Veach may have thought that he found something and was talking about a finding, whether or not that linked to the military. What I'm saying is, as an alternative way of looking at it, you can claim to have found something, but if you're vague in your description, it might be of interest of other people who misunderstand and think that what you're talking about is to do with them. It might be something completely separate, could still be important, but separate. So then they take matters into their own hands to sort you out. Still, a misunderstanding, an overlap. Either way, secrets out there not wanting to be revealed public on a wider level. Camera's very wonky. Welcome to everyone else that's watching along. Appreciate that. It's late to the live stream in doing it. I was supposed to do it at 8:30, but there was more important things just to do beforehand, and yeah, and I just wanted to catch up with the live stream, get that done, and then of course proper video tomorrow. And then of course I remember Linda saying looking forward to it, so that's good to see. More in X, welcome. Hard to fake your death these days. Ever try running a background check on Kenny, see if anything comes up, any trace of him at all since his disappearance? Takes money to hide. I can't remember, but I'll look around tonight and see if I can find the interview video. I'll send it to your way. I appreciate that. And if you don't know how to reach out to me, 3 a.m., you know, if you had like a URL link or a screenshot or something, if you wanted to reach out to me, I'm available on Twitter. I'm available on Instagram as well. Okay. So yeah, talk about Really Robin. Whatever happened, I hope he didn't suffer. In terms of the evidence out there, there's no evidence at this moment to suggest he suffered. There's no evidence at this moment to suggest he struggled. No evidence to suggest death. Yeah. But look, if Kenny Veach didn't want to be found, okay, technically he hasn't been, but he still left items behind. And that's a problem. Because even if you're going to do something, you start leaving items here and there, but you also claim you don't want to be found or traced, then why bring them with you in the first place? Why bring an alternative camera with you in the first place? Why promise to your nephew, Hunter, that you've got a surprise and you're going to give it to him once you get back from your hike? Even if by some chance something changed along the way and Kenny was going to do something, to leave items behind, but not at home, but on the hike, implies teasing, messing, maybe, with some people's emotions, mixed signals, leading people on. That's a problem itself. That's a cancer within this world. You know, if you're going to do something, you do it. You start messing around here and there, it can lead to messing around with other people too. You know? Sometimes it's like people want to play mind games. You could argue and say, is that what the fake Robin is doing? Playing mind games and so on. Look, I could be regarded as a complete idiot at times, like a complete joke. But the thing is, I just want to document as much as possible because it might be useful at one point in the future or present. The wacky stuff, the silly stuff, the hard to believe things, the BS, the darkness, whatever. Document it. If I document it, I've got something to hold on to. I've got something to refer to in the future if it's ever needed, right? Because I know some people in the background might think they're playing a certain chessboard, okay? But did they have it under control? Maybe not. Well, I appreciate that, Strawberry. Who says he didn't want to be found? Same person who says he was suicidal. I'm just thinking, Jeff Clark, was there a screenshot? I'll have to look back. A conversation between Hunter Veach and Kenny. And Kenny once said to Hunter, if I ever disappeared, I'd make sure no one finds me or something. If it's been mentioned more than once, there's strength to it. If it's only mentioned by the girlfriend, you can't believe too much in it. It's like a one-way narrative. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comments in the live chat right now as to what you think about the return of Robin. This so-called Robin is the one that claims to have put a pen drive in the mineshaft, put a crystal skull in the mineshaft before Jeff Clark got there and even after. But honestly, who's going to bother putting a crystal skull in the mineshaft in hoping that another person comes on by and searches the area? Because after Sean Horlacher went out there, Sean recorded the mineshaft but didn't go inside. Jeff Clark, 2017, if I'm correct in saying. But was Robin, this so-called Robin, to know that after Sean in 2015, another person was going to come by and go to the mineshaft? There was no certainty. The person you would expect the most to leave a crystal skull behind would be the person that goes missing in the first place and leaves a trail to that spot. Now, you know, this Robin can claim to have put the skull there or taken it away. You can say it's a load of rubbish, fair enough. But there is evidence and material to suggest that there was a crystal skull at one point, and Jeff Clark documented it. Other people have claimed that they took the skull, not placed it, but took it. Jeff Clark and others believe that that might have been a second skull, the original unknown of, as like what Jeff Clark is just saying there. So there's different ways of looking at it, of course. Art Bell's sighting combined with Apex Highway sighting recounting the same crowd is an almost impossible coincidence. Fake Robin for sure, 100. Too much mystery around a person who wants to help solve the case. Exactly, Hood Boys. Because when it comes to really Robin, this so-called Robin, if they really wanted the case to be solved, then why would you risk putting an important piece of evidence in an environment where it's a free-for-all, a rat race? Anyone could get a hold of it first. The wrong people, the ones that want to cover the truth up. But then again, it wouldn't be a surprise. And you know why? In the Noah Presgrove true crime case, with what happened there, one of the partygoers was willing to sell their phone with important evidence on to the first come, first serve bidder, putting the general public before the victim's family. Not a defendant, not a suspect, just a partygoer from the case. But that's what their attitude was. And the thing is, by now people can say, well, you don't have to look at Caden Pressey, you don't have to look at Alicia. They're not defendants, they're not responsible for the death of Noah. But if I bring it up now, people will say, why are you attacking those people? Broken record. Oh, I'm sorry, it's probably just because I've got standards, you know, that I can pick up on people's piss poor attitudes at times, and it can be very frustrating. So I think awareness does need to be spread, because in the moment it is what it is. But what about in the future? And more so, like when you come across certain viewers or other creators and at like tossers. What about in the future when they move on to another case? What cancer are they going to infest there? What damage are they going to cause elsewhere? Spread the awareness, let people know there's problematic people about, and go from there. Of course, I'm always going to be the black sheep at some point in a case, is what it is. I'm that sacrificial lamb. I'll take the damage, I'll take the punishment, I'll take the abuse, but I'll still remain consistent. And I'll still be the last person standing in some way or another because I have the most stamina possible. Sometimes too much stamina for my own good, but it's just how it is. And that comes across more so the psychological stamina in that sense. Did Robin explain what the 2 hikes were about? No. The so-called Robin that returned in recent time, yesterday or the day before, said, I am going to re-upload the hike video in response to my short clip that I made at the time. Linda says, I'm proud of you. Appreciate that, Linda. It means a lot. But in terms of Robin, this so-called Robin, when he said he's going to re-upload it, I thought, oh, re-upload? Why would you re-upload it when it's never been uploaded in the first place? You know, you've been out there on 2 hikes, 2 separate occasions, 17th of June, 27th. You only record and upload one of those hikes. What about the second video? What about the other hike? And Robin's response is, I will re-upload it. How can you re-upload it when it was never uploaded in the first place? Or at least to my knowledge. So that's why it made me think maybe he was going to re-upload his original hike, which we've already seen, and that would be pointless. You know? What ended up happening then, Robin uploaded 2 videos today. Nothing to do with Kenny Veach, but more cryptic in the title. They've used a snippet from either a TV show or a movie. Right? Wow. That's great. What good does that do? A bit cringy. Being cryptic. Being quirky. Oh, God. It's reminding me of when people did the little arc, final stand, TikTok degenerative. Oh, it's me, my time, my legacy, my moment, my time to shine. 15 seconds of being dominant. I'm going to do a fancy clip. We use motivational music in the name of we the people. Do all these visual highlights, make it sound really motivating and really intense. Final stand. Oh, God. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. And I saw that too much in the true crime area. People use these motivational quotes. Bollocks. Be realistic. Use basic positivity. Basic positivity is more hard-hitting than being overly positive. Be raw if possible. More time efficient as well. So with this crypticness, edging round the box, using external clips and videos as symbolisms to create something which the person could possibly explain, but if they're in a situation where they can't explain because they don't have the material in the first place, they'll work around it. Jeff, do another live with Casual Conversations and see who pops up. Do they still do live streams? Does Casual Conversations still do live streams? Still got quite a few projects and stuff to do. Cleo, show me the way. No. I need to be showing other people the way. I'm busy with other things. I say we invite this so-called Robin to do a live video chat to explain himself and confirm his identity. What's he going to come as, Mr. Bean? I had a lot of camera issues in Robin's Canyon. Even the one that worked had issues. Did, I've not seen it yet, but did SB Vegas have any issues there? See, the thing is, when I only saw the first it's typical of this. I only saw the first 30 seconds of SB's footage. And when I saw it, bang. SB almost died. Well, that's bad enough, to be honest. But yeah. But when I saw the first 30 seconds of SB's footage, I saw something maybe other people don't remember. And it does link to Scott Natal. And considering this case is big and important, and there needs to be communication in cases makes it a lot easier to understand and know what's going on. Because if some hiker goes out there and there's no communication, it's not to do with being entitled, it's just to do with understanding who comes, who goes, who's missing, who's not, who's back safe and who isn't. Who's done what, so it can be ticked off the list, or it can at least be documented. When people start going out of the way, rogue hikers, solo hikers, underground hikers, quiet hikers, it doesn't help anyone, really. If they were once vocal and communicated with the community and viewers, to some extent, it's a shame it doesn't continue. When there's a dip, or when they do other stuff, because Scott Natal did two videos on the Kenny Veach case in 2025, but how many people know about it? Not many. But I've done an analysis of it already. And what was found within it is basically what SB came across. And that's extremely important, considering. So who was influenced by what? And why did one do it somewhat quietly and not reveal the location? What are you on about, Cleo? Natal can be impossible to follow, yet I was able to look at his footage on ground and actually map it out on Google Earth somehow. And then Scott said, yes, you're correct, and this is the spot. It just happened. It's not always going to. Because as much as people may say I could come across as an expert or how I might see or visualize stuff, when processing it, reading or seeing it in the moment, it does take a bit of time, and at times there can be quite a bit of doubt as well. So it's not always perfect. It doesn't always go like all smooth. Well, whatever happened, I doubt it was willingly. The rumours he may be living under his father's name. His father's death wasn't even reported until 2022. Are you talking about Kenny Veach there? I think Kenny's father. What time are we on? So what I'll do is I'll just talk for another 30 minutes or so, and then I'll leave it there because it's a bit of a lighter live stream tonight. The last one, what I did, there was a lot of stuff bunched together with over the course of days. I just wanted to do something tonight instead of nothing, just because of the timing of the other video that I was going to do. I didn't want to rush it. That's why it's being done tomorrow. But it's still important to talk about what went down in recent time and the situation with the Really Robin thing and what could happen next. All I would say is it wouldn't surprise me if there are any adjustments made to that second mineshaft which SB came across at some point. The only other thing that was mentioned, I think, in the last live stream or live premiere video that I did some day ago or two, is a person was talking about some frequency detector equipment which can measure frequencies or wavelengths. Anything like that, if it's not been used, could it be used in some areas where, Jeff Clark, you've experienced weird things, where technology has malfunctioned on itself? We got some kind of detector to check for certain unusual activity, wavelengths, whatever it is, if that could help in some way, maybe. Okay. Welcome to anyone else watching in the background. Shout out to those present. It's all good there. So, the whole crystal skull is weird. It even existing is weird. It disappearing is even more strange. It's not normal. Could any of the hikers have taken it and not owned up to it, or didn't think there was any need in bringing it up? Well, with all the coverage that it's received, you would have expected a known hiker to come forward if they had been responsible. But yeah. In terms, besides the crystal skull, pen drive, seems very unlikely. The story of Robin originally saying, because I had that screenshot of the email, where Robin said, if I don't upload in the next few days from that hike of the mineshaft and tour of it, something had happened to me. It's like you're setting yourself up to protect yourself, because you're not going to go out there, you're not going to upload it. And to avoid disappointment for letting other people down after promising so much, you just come up with an excuse before it's even happened. And then when it does happen, people think, it's because of that reason, when it was just used as an excuse in the first place. It's like setting it up before it inevitably fails. Somewhat manipulative behaviour, that. I do pick up on it at times. Some people go further than others. Some people are very determined to create confusion. It's weird. I mean, what's the recent obsession? The recent obsession is, Ref, you need to fix your door. Why? Are people getting turned on by the door because it's made of wood or something? More wood than they could ever have themselves? I don't know. But that's what we're dealing with. Driven X Adventures, I'll be doing a live tonight at the Mineshaft for the 11th year anniversary. November. Oh shit, is it November 10th already? I wasn't even thinking. Wow. Interesting. Is there anything to acknowledge or mention or bring up when being at that mineshaft? Any, just make sure Driven there's no donkeys about or Jay Silverheels in the dark. But yeah, it sounds good in fairness. A live stream, mineshaft, if it's dark, I don't know how dark it'll be. It might be the time zone difference though with hair, but could check it out at time when there's a point to do so. Are you going to carry Susan up there with you so you can each confirm? Oh no. Oh boy. Anyway, I think the Robin situation is odd. I think the best thing to do, separate it. Break it down. Whether it's the same person or not, break it down. It's like with each case or each topic in a case. Even with the videos that I make, as deep as they are, if I think of making it as a whole, it's too much. I have to slow it down just a little bit. Piece the video, record the video bit by bit. The same can be done with Robin. Put aside the return of Robin and put aside the original Robin, separate them. There is unfinished business with the original Robin. Things that need to be brought up and mentioned there. There is a rise in default accounts attacking me at the moment and trying to insult me. Probably males, wouldn't surprise me, it tends to be. So because of that, there might be a pattern. You lock onto someone case study analysis. And then what's followed is resistance. Getting too close to the truth? Maybe. I can easily confirm the original Robin because I have his emails. Any new one cannot answer my question. Well, it's good that you got the original emails, and if they ever need to be explored or analysed with the appropriate stuff blurred out, then maybe. But just do it bit by bit to build that mystery within the right reasons, to document it all, to reach some head. Because for some people that know what's up, other people may not. So it's about just allowing other people to climb up onto the same wavelength in understanding what's happening and what's going on. That's interesting. But this is the thing, footage and clips and stuff from the past, there's still things to pick out from. And that's what's happening right now with the videos that I'm doing. Looking back, picking out on stuff. If you need to, Raf, use that on him. Ask him to confirm my emails. You mean ask the fake Robin, the current Robin, to confirm those emails or to reiterate them, then compare with the notes of yours to see if what he's saying is correct or not. On the surface level, the only thing that makes Robin, this return Robin, look like the original is simply because he's got the footage of Robin's original hike, which we didn't, because we did not archive it at the time. And then Robin just disappeared and deleted all his videos. So when one person has the original footage when nobody else does, and they're pretending to be Robin, they appear more likely to be the original Robin because of having that original footage. But all it takes is one person to save a screenshot, to save a video, to download it at the time before things disappear, and then they can use it to their advantage to gain the trust of people and make others believe that, yes, I am the one and I have returned. Who else has this photo? Who else has this ID? Who else has this video? Only me, because I am the original. But things can be duplicated. I've come across scams in recent time. I mean, well, it felt like a scam. Like, I'll give you an example. So just recently, some person reached out to me on Twitter and said to me, because of your coverage on Kenny Veach, just because they looked at one video that I shared onto Twitter, which is suspicious. I didn't pick that up at the time. But some woman that's all about positivity, relationships, helping people and all of that, somehow interested in Kenny Veach, me, my story, myself, but they wanted me to do some interview about being a creator. And then they partnered me up with some French magazine thing. And then they wanted me to access a certain website. And then in terms of signing a contract, to access it was a bit unusual. To download it, it said it's unsafe. So I thought, whoa, I don't like that. And they said, no, it's fine, just use Chrome instead. Really? And then it's just the fact that the accounts that they had like 1,000 followers on Twitter. And they had a link to their YouTube channels, which could be pretending to be the originals, but they're not the originals, like fakes. It just felt fake, it felt weird, instinct kicked in, didn't like it, didn't trust it. And then other people said that they had stories where that happened too. So I don't share my videos on Twitter anymore because I don't want to be scammed. Not that I have been scammed, but I don't want to be led into a false sense of security. I don't want to be led on. I don't want to be disappointed by you know, people like that, because it messes with your head. It's 50-50. You're protecting yourself, you don't want to get scammed, but then the other bit of doubt in your mind is, am I missing out on something important? Am I missing out on an opportunity? But it's a lose-lose in life because, you know, you trust, you could get screwed. You don't trust, you don't get screwed, but you miss out. And you can't really learn from it because it's different every time. It's a pain. I said, like with mysteries, Bigfoot, UFOs, if people didn't fake shit and no one faked it, when people actually did record something and believed it was genuine, there could be more truth behind it. Let me just catch up. I think DJ Moore saved the original hike also. Okay. Did the fake Robin reach out to DJ Moore for it, I wonder? He went to the correct canyon but couldn't get in because he had a dog with him. Are you referring to DJ Moore? And which canyon? Picture Canyon? Or Gemme Canyon? Kenny said he had a brother named Mike. Got any information on that? Well, welcome, Mike Owen. Thanks for being here. Where did you hear that from? You say that Kenny said he had a brother called Mike. I've never seen or heard that. Is there an article, Facebook page? Is there a direct quote from Kenny stating that? If so, can you provide a link to the source? Keith, I'm confused with UK time, but I'm here. So the UK time for me right now is 22:10. Okay. What does a fake Robin have to gain by persisting with this? Self-satisfaction, enjoying it in a way, in the background. It's like the Jay Slater case, how people acted there. Oh, we got Sweet Echoes, welcome. Really, Robin's pen drive clip, was he using Morse code? Fair enough. When you say Morse code, do you mean when he was flicking it up and down like that? I mean, if that could be translated to Morse code, there's extra depth and layers to it. And look, there's some people that aren't a part of the actual mystery, but they interject themselves. And honestly, some people will go to such great lengths even when they're not a part of the original thing. But for some reason, people just are willing to go deep. It's a bit weird, but it's a good observation, what you say, Keith. You never know. I don't know how you'd analyse it. Dot, dash or something, but which one would mean it? Up, dot, down, dash, or the reverse way around? I'm not too sure. I'm not an expert on Morse code. DJ went to Robin's Canyon, but couldn't get in because of the dog. Right. Was that recent, Jeff, or was that in the past? Mike, he says it in his video where he is showing his house off and talks about how he came to buy that house, etc. He says his brother, Mike. I mean, personally, I don't know how many brothers Kenny has. We know his brother Raymond Veach, but as for a person called Mike, I'm not aware of. But if that's what Kenny says, interesting. When Silver Heels was still around. Okay, fair enough. It's some time ago. What time are we on? 15 minutes or so? But it's still important what you picked up on, Keith. The things like that can go unnoticed by most people, and that's understandable. When you look a little bit closer, who knows what you might be able to find. Just like with the hike footage, could see things other people don't see. I tried to decode the Morse code, but nothing came up. So Mike, you tried it with Robin's pen drive clip, up and down. Fair enough. But, you know, it's worth ticking it off the list if if it can be debunked or just put aside, it clears things up a little bit. I know people say, oh, not enough progress has been made, but sometimes it needs to be adjusted. Jeff, you have to have a very open mind with this case. If not, you won't answer anything. Exactly, Jeff. And to be honest, Jeff, in terms of when covering the Kenny Veach case originally back then, and then moving on to true crime, it was natural, it was worth doing, but I think it was probably for the best as well, because it opened the mindset more. And that's why when coming back to this case, more videos can be made because of that reason. My own theory has changed a lot in a decade. That's true, yeah. And look, this is the thing, Jeff. The difference is, in the true crime community with cases over there, if you change your opinion, you will be labelled as being paid off, labelled as being involved in the cover-up, the clean-up of a death of someone. That's how stupid it got elsewhere. Whereas here, in this case, you can change with time, and that's normal, that's fine. There's been exceptions though where, in the past, where I changed my opinion through a process, and not instant, but over time. And through that, what ended up happening, people did assume that strange things happened, or I was threatened or silenced in some way. I guess this case does attract hyper-vigilant people too. I get that. But you're allowed to change your opinion or thoughts with time. I already am insulted and accused. All bullshit then. It's a good thing, Jeff, you haven't gone over to the true crime cases that I covered, because the responses by some people, it makes Jay Silverheels shooting donkeys at night look normal. Deal with logic and facts. With me, I deal with looking at it almost word for word, language and wording. Even if someone means it by something else, if they poorly word it, I will read it how it's originally worded and interpret it that way. Like when Kenny said it's near Nellis Air Force Base. Well, there's a big difference between that and where he actually hiked. And where he described it to be is likely where he was hiking, but how he worded it, completely off by 30 plus miles. So I look at it word for word how it was originally said. Did it make me stubborn? Did it make me awkward? I don't know. But it's just the way about it. So, not too much from Robin at this moment, but this pattern of Robin claiming responsibility for this and that and all that, it's the equivalent of bloody ISIS or Anonymous claiming to be responsible for this and that going on. But in the case with Robin, this situation, claiming responsibility, could be interpreted more so as attention-seeking behaviour, which is disappointing to see. Because this Robin account was the one that claimed Kenny's caught on camera, and it's a random guy from India, which is even more of a worse interpretation than me doing coverage on the CCTV footage, you know? So, based on that, it kind of gives it away. Based on the timing, based on the cassette tapes, follow the red tape, and all that. Weird. We don't have level-headed close family to ask what his normal personality was. Fair enough. Yeah. With true crime cases, the family has been present in some way and have gave an explanation, they were level-headed. But in the case with Kenny Veach, it's not a normal situation. I don't want to sound rude, but the reaction as well from those at the start, the proactivity, not there. The press conferences, not there. The feeling of giving up too soon happened. Why did people give up so soon? because there was no need to worry because they knew what was up, what was going on. Makes me wonder. Kenny seems scatterbrained, but was he always like that? A good point. Just researched Really Robin's YouTube page today and found it to be clickbaitish. And when it's all so cryptic and people have to use styles and symbols of clips, videos, movies, photos, music, not directly linked to Kenny or hike-related stuff, it just feels a bit desperate in a way. And the whole mention of, oh, I revealed the hike, I'll re-upload it for a short period of time. Why? Just remember one thing, this so-called Robin was the one some years ago to schedule a video premiere for 2024. Some people actually waited years for it. And when the video was finally released, it was a 5-second video of nothing. That's what I mean. It's not the end of the world, but in some ways it can get people's hopes up. If you're new to the situation or you're not too sure, it can get your hope up. You think, oh, are we finally going to get the truth? Are we finally going to learn something now? And then you're let down, disappointed, trust issues. That can translate into real life as well. It's not good. That's why I try and spread awareness there. Previous cases in true crime, it got that bad that it did lead to trust issues and other people out there couldn't even trust one another. That's not good. If you can't trust anyone, there's no hope. If that translates online or in real life or in both ways or all over the place, you're fucked. So the false sense of security, the false hope, that awareness needs to be spread immediately so there's no more trust issues. Because it can also lead to bridges being burnt down and poor communication and misunderstandings and not knowing. And it just has such a chain reaction. So maybe I think of all the problems before they actually do happen, but it's to eliminate it from happening or to avoid it when it does happen. Damage limitation before it does occur. Because I've seen it already in the past. I don't want repeats of it, and I'm sure other people don't want repeats of it or it happening anyway. Can't control everything, yep. But you can react to it in certain ways. If you go to 1650 on his video of his home, you'll see him saying he was, okay. Let me just get a screenshot of that just a second. Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry if it lagged them. Forgot about that. Hopefully it's okay. I forgot when you take a screenshot, it kind of takes you out of the app, which is a bit problematic. Hopefully everything's okay. So what I'm going to do is a countdown now from 20 and leave it as that. If you've got any final thoughts, you can do so in the live chat when I count down or any questions. And then we'll see what happens next time. Ken, welcome. The truth doesn't matter. It's none of our business. If he chose this or if he did not, nothing can be changed. A hiding man will not be found. Is it time to move on? I mean, if people are interested in the case, they can cover it if they want. You should be allowed to cover whatever you want if you're interested in it. And it's not just Kenny, it's on a much bigger thing. The DM cave, and if it's not DM cave, it's on a much bigger scale, as in other activity going on out there. So if one thing's debunked, it's not going to debunk everything else. There's more to it. Thanks for the awesome video. Like always, appreciate that, Rick. Glad you're here. Good individual. Okay, so I'm going to do my countdown now, and if you've got any points, thoughts, theories, questions to be read out, then I'll do so as I'm counting. 20, 19. Thank you, can't wait until the next episode, Mr. F. Appreciate that, Keith. I do. 19, I thought Robin was a weirdo and I unsubscribed before he deleted his video, so he probably killed Kenny. Huh. Depending which Robin you look at, there are possibilities that Robin could link to Kenny Veach in terms of certain behaviour and actions. There is that possibility. 19. Ooh, lurking Shazza. You take care. Sleep well, Shazza. 19. Oh, SB as well. Great video. Keep them up. Will do. Appreciate that, SB. What I do want to say as a heads up, SB Vegas, I looked at 30 seconds of your video of that hike and I've already seen something which is very important, and it links to Scott Natal. As for the true location, I'll need to look into that because I need to watch the video properly. We got Glowbugs, welcome. Hood Boys, take care. The new Really Robin could be Kenny in hiding. You never know. I think Atari suggested that in the past. Take care, Strawberry. Sweet Echoes, great video, appreciate that. 18. 17. 16. 15. 14. 13. 12. We've got Brian. Welcome, Brian. Cool. See you on the next one. I follow all the channels, just a guy in the background that finds this case very interesting. That's good to hear, Brian. I'm glad you find the case interesting and present watching. Oh God, where was I counting down? 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Sam. Glowbugs, you're so cute. Appreciate that. Okay. Sam, we'll be there for now. Thanks for watching. And shout out to everyone that has watched and in the background too. Have you ever thought about taking on the Andrew Gosden case? Well, I don't really know much about it, but I'm familiar of the name of that individual. If there is time, if there is time to cover it or get an idea, then I could. Because I do like map analysis, as long as the case has like, this is where they last were at, this is where they were supposedly spotted. Something like that, where you've got like a location to work from. Like I never did it, but the Nicola Bully case, a location, and to work off from that, to expand. Yeah, I don't always do the full-on storytelling, but I do the what happened after. How far was the mine shaft to the M cave? Any idea? Distance-wise, is it like 2.77 miles or something? Death Riders, welcome. Death Riders, I've just got towards the end of the live stream now. A bit of a shorter one tonight. But for those that have joined later, you can always watch this on catch-up or once it's processed, okay? So expect probably a video tomorrow or the day after on Kenny Veach, important finding, important map analysis, and it might even shock and surprise some people based on his language and wording and his overall attitude of that hike that he did on his YouTube channel. So that being said, my name's Wallite Ref. Take care and goodbye.